Last week, we got a great member question regarding billing patients an additional charge for seeing them after your normal business hours. And what the question really was is the doctor said, you know, when I'm at a baseball game or one of my son's baseball games and get a call from a patient who really needs to see me, and if I go into the office, I'm pulled away from the baseball game, can I charge an additional amount to that patient? And like a lot of things, the answer is it depends. So first of all, let's set some background information here. There is a CPT code for billing for after hours, and that is CPT code 99050 or 99050. And there are some rules that really kind of govern that. First of all, it has to be really clearly posted. So as long as your hours are posted on your door, and also that you have notified your patient that there would be these charges in the financial policy that they sign at the beginning when they first begin to see you in your practice. And in that, you'll also want to include your office hours. So now you've kind of laid the groundwork for the patient to even be able to bill those charges. 99050 is billed in addition to the actual services rendered. So it's not a global fee for a lot of services. Instead, it's an add-on fee simply for seeing them after your business hours. Now we've established that background. That's a CPT code for billing that code, but the answer is still it depends. And it depends because PPO contracts govern a lot of what you do. So the contracts that you sign with insurance carriers and agree to their terms really govern a lot of that. And then you also have some federal law that comes into play. So first of all, let's cover two big ones. One is Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, and two is Medicare. Those two government-funded programs and Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, they consider those to be bundled services or bundled codes with all of the services that you provide. In other words, they are not reimbursable, nor are they collectible from the patient. So you can't bill the patient for those services for the after hours charge, nor can you bill Blue Cross Blue Shield. They bundle it into the other services that you've provided. Same thing goes with Medicare. So don't even bill Medicare or Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. They don't allow it. In fact, your contract specifically with Blue Cross, the provider manual lays out the fact that you can't bill or collect from the member, the patient, or Blue Cross Blue Shield charges itemized and distinguished from the professional services provided. Such charges included but are not limited to malpractice surcharges, overhead fees or facility fees, concierge fees or fees for completing claim forms or submitting additional information to Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that also includes then fees like the after hours charges, and they actually have specific provisions that cover that specific CPT code, which is 99050. Now, just because they don't cover it doesn't mean that other insurance carriers don't. So there's two areas that then you potentially could bill. And which means that if you decide you want to go down this road, make sure that you do include that in your financial policy so the patients are aware of the charge so you're not surprising them. And two, that you're posting your hours quite visibly. And then outside of those contracts that do not pay for it, again, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, Medicare, things along those lines, or other contracts that you may have signed that do not allow for those billings, and you have to check with your individual carriers to find out, you would bill the 99050 in addition to the service you provide. Now, you'll establish a fee in your office just like you would any other service that you provide in your office. You establish that fee and make that determination from a business perspective, and then bill it. Now, the areas that you could is those areas that you're when the patient has an insurance that you have a PPO agreement with, and the PPO does not exclude those services or do not consider them to be bundled services with the other services you're providing, or two, when you're out of network. If you are not in contract with the patient's insurance carrier, then you don't have an agreement in that particular case, and you would be able to bill the patient for those after hours service charges. So one, make sure it's abundantly clear what it is. Don't bill the carriers that exclude that. That's the easiest way to avoid any potential problems and red flags with your claims bills. And on the others, make sure it's abundantly clear and that you've documented really well the time frame that they came in. So you want to make sure that in your documentation, you also are including that time frame that they came in. So if there ever is an audit on those particular records and why they paid those particular fees, you can include a copy of your hours that are posted, and also then the documentation that clearly indicates what time that you saw the patient. So those are the areas that you can, and why it's still it's an it depends answer. But hopefully that helps you out, and we'll catch you next week.